One second, guys. There's something I'm trying to fix on the screen here. So I was trying to get my analytics screen set up. How you doing, Justin? John? Oh, coming in here. Gotta fix that. All right. Think I should be good now. Oh boy. How's everybody doing? Oh, so they add a badge now to the moderators. That's kind of cool. I don't know if you noticed that detail, Justin, but look next to your name. So at least they know not to mess with you guys. Because normally I'd have to be the one that would tear people another behind. Aw, yeah. Instability just wasn't trying to push that far north. I'd noticed it from the beginning. I was hoping that maybe I would have a chance at a couple rumbles of thunder, but I'm not too optimistic myself, so I feel your pain. I'm right there with you. Hair is a mess right now, just hanging out the hat, but I do not feel like combing this, and I'll have to wash it later tonight. And then there's like a big trench from where I was working on music earlier because I'm often wearing headphones. So, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing to look at. 'Cause it just leaves like a huge divot in my hair. My hair is almost like an afro at this point now. So, for tonight, we're going to be looking at these storms a little bit, but we're also going to be trying to set some stuff up for the future here because, as we know, severe weather season is on the way. And ironically, two people that I can actually show their storm chasing feats, you guys are in chat. So, interestingly enough, I might pick you guys. I might try to pick you guys' brains for advice because this will be my first year chasing, especially being Skywarn certified now. So, I'm really excited about that. But, well, I can't lie. I can't lie. I do have a little bit of nerves. I'm pretty sure I can handle it, but you know. So yeah, if there's any advice you guys could give me, or if I have any questions, hopefully you guys can answer. So I guess first things we'll kind of go over the details. We recently had a couple of tornadoes reported. I think we're back down to a lull in the action here. I should probably switch to a regular site here. So that way we can see what's going on. I think Jaden might be live. I think this is Jaden. So basically, the rundown for tonight is going to be simply looking within this QLCS. Not the strongest QLCS we've seen, but QLCS nonetheless that has the potential to drop quick spin ups. I think Evan had gotten a tornado earlier on his feed. I think it was the one up here towards central Louisiana. This line of the storms looks like it's weakened and there's no rotation at the moment, but it's these kinks in the line that we're going to have to be looking for. This is where the quick spin ups are going to be occurring right on the leading edge of the line. It's not going to be the discrete supercell look that we'll probably be seeing within a month or so, possibly. It's going to be ugly. I know how to read radar on my phone. It's just I hate doing it. I actually got a tablet to help with that, and I'm getting a mount to put on my car so I could make that a little bit easier. Radar scope's good for chasing. Okay. Radar scope. Well, that's already been on my bucket list, so at least I'm taking a step in the right direction. Let me see this one right here real quick. Yeah, I do love being able to look at it from the from the computer. It's a little bit easier on the eyes if I'm going to pick my poison at all. You used Weatherwise last year? Well, I'm just really trying to see. Well, the tablet performs pretty well with either or. So essentially, my plan is I'm gonna use the tablet as an infotainment center because the car I'm going after right now isn't gonna be anything particularly new. It'll probably be in the 2010s, but I can't guarantee that it'll have an infotainment center. And besides, at least with this, like let's say if I buy a used car and the infotainment center doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. Because something like that had happened with my mom's car, and we're still kind of scrambling to figure out how that even happened. By the way, folks, we do have considerable severe thunderstorm warnings here. We have 70-mile-per-hour winds possible, so these storms do have a punch beyond just that tornado threat. And it looks like they got new colors for the considerable severe thunderstorm warnings, which honestly, I'm glad they did that. Yeah, and a little further off towards the south, that's where there was a brief tornado that it touched down. It's pretty much a water spout now, Tim. So, yeah, it got pretty active in the last little bit. The biggest issue, and probably why I wasn't live in time to catch the tornado that was in Louisiana, was due in large part to the fact that I can't draw thumbnails to save my life. I absolutely suck at it. Like every one of my thumbnails that you see, they're essentially hand drawn, except for maybe a lucky picture I'll find off of Canva that's DMCA free. So, not trying to steal from anyone or anything like that, but yeah, it's a struggle out here, man. Let's go ahead and take a look over towards DeRitter, because this is where I'm still seeing a few kinks in the line, and that's probably where our potential for any increased rotation could be. I haven't really seen anything on radar in the last little bit that's really stood out to me, but, things change quickly with storms, as we all know. There's a little sneaky area of rotation to watch, but it seems like it's further towards the back of the line. So we may struggle to get some inflow in there. But that could mean that we may have to watch an area a little further off to the south with potential. Because sometimes you'll see these little areas of rotation begin to flare up, and then they'll kind of push towards the front. There are a couple other areas that kind of interest me more, like this spot right over here, right past Bancroft here. But like I said, nothing really stands out immediately as a high-end threat for tornadoes at this very moment in time. Actually, let me take that back. That looks a little bit intriguing, but it seems like those winds going away from the radar are moving in a way towards the storm broadening out rotation, or maybe this might become a new couplet right here. It's one of the two. And since we're heading into Louisiana, we should be able to get better coverage from DOT cameras. It's not what I want right there. Do we have any cameras? Or am I just losing my mind here? I know we do in Shreveport. But we're a little too far north. And further too far west. This might be a little gray area over here. I'm still learning about DOT cameras. There we go. Let's see if we can get a look at this storm facing off to the west. If we can get like a little sky view, that would be good. I'm probably not going to get a great view starting out. We're right outside, maybe northwestern parts of Lake Charles. So, with us facing off to the west, we should be looking at this, but I don't think we have a great view of the skyline. All right. So, one other thing I'd also wanted to talk about while we're watching things progress with this storm system here also is we have a severe weather threat for tomorrow. I'm almost certainly going to be live for that one too, especially since I won't have as much to do, but also something with that, there's something I wanted to bring up. It keeps on kind of passing. It keeps on just like coming through my mind in passing, but oh, that's what it was. So I don't know how many of you guys have been how long you guys have been following the channel, but we started a series in late 2022 within the very beginning of the channel called the Weather Nerd 101 series. Wish we had more OGs on here, but obviously with tornado season coming up and there's a few storm chasers in here, I also wanted to know if anybody had some thoughts on the next video that I'm going to make for that. Because I have 3 ideas in mind, but I want to put up something useful, obviously. I was going to try to put it up this weekend, but obviously that didn't happen. But it was mainly due to indecisiveness. I just didn't know which one I wanted to do first. I'm going to do all 3 of the ideas, but I'm trying to have some order of importance. Some rhyme to the reason. I'm going to actually put up a voting poll. But basically, I'm continuing a series that I started on the channel, like way back when. So basically, Weather Nerd 101 talks about how to read the radar. Also talks about it would talk about stuff like weather models. And there's 3 like video topics that I have in mind. So I was just wondering what should be the next one. I'm actually going to make a voting poll so that way you guys can decide, especially since I know that we have storm chasers in here. It could be, some of what I'm planning to do is useful to storm chasers. Other stuff will be more useful to the public. A lot of this stuff is pretty much already known. It's not like it's a secret or anything, but, I try to offer a little bit more value on the channel here. And I can't type to save my life anymore these days. These are the three that I have so far, and I know there's plenty more that I could add to it. Yeah, this is a general look at what I'm thinking of putting up next. Originally I was just gonna do EMLs, but then I thought people might want to know what what exactly a storm mode is, because that's important too, and it probably would. I'd probably be able to convey that better to the public than an elevated mixed layer. Storm safety, one for chasing and one for the public. What to do if you're impacted by a tornado. I would do storm safety for chasing, but I haven't really chased enough to really hold much weight there. So that's the only reason I'm not doing it now. Probably if I can get a year under my belt, then I'll do that. Yeah, because one thing that we're going to have to be, especially living where I live, is going to have to be safe. I would hope that I don't get too close to a storm. Like, I'm not trying to do a danger close, I'm not trying to do anything danger close like some of the other guys are doing out here, because the storms move so fast. Now, if it happens on accident, like the storm is literally crossing the road right in front of me out of nowhere, even though it really isn't, yeah. Build a monolith dome home and stock it fully. Well, you aren't wrong. Unfortunately, that's not affordable yet. Not to everyone. Shoot. Right now, I'm just trying to afford groceries. I just want food in my house. And I'm joking about that, but I'm actually serious. I'm getting killed in the grocery store. Shout out to all the food pantries, by the way. I actually kind of want to help out with one if I can get the chance. If time ever permits. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. Dang, like, come on, guys. Help us out a little bit. Orange juice costs more than gas. And we got a new tornado warning, by the way. This was the one that we were calling out earlier over here towards Leesville and DeRitter. That little segment of the line here definitely looked like it had a kink in it. But it wasn't showing anything immediately as of yet. Or at least not up until now. We have crossed the threshold, folks, and I cannot find my siren. Oh, wait, there it is. I gotta find a way to code that to where it sinks in with this, but I'm terrible at coding. I've never even tried it, truthfully. Anyway, this is for the parish of Vernon over here, by the way. This is over towards Lano. This is moving east at 40 miles an hour. This is going to be heading into... Shut up. Shut up, you. Dang. I had an Evan moment. I had an Evan Freiberger moment, because Evan had accidentally had Max's stream come up because I think somebody was rating him and it defaulted to Max Velocity stream. And he's like, "Oh God, turn this off. Turn it off. What are you guys doing?" There should probably not be much of anything to get that 10 seconds of Borknagar off of there. It'd be nice if they would end up following the stream all the way from Norway. Hi, Vortex. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the velocity, by the way. Not the strongest signature I've seen, but there is something to be had. It looks like it's right up in there. You can see that little contrast of blue right there. And then maybe over here, this is where we have that slight little bit of veering of winds. So it looks like everybody so far has voted for the storm modes. Which, I mean, I agreed. I just wanted to make sure I was going to start work on the right video. So yeah, this upcoming week, I'm definitely going to have that up. And it's honestly the easiest one for me to do as well, so definitely not complaining there. So, honestly, I'm kind of grateful. Elevated Mixler probably would have been the hardest of the... well, actually, I would say fail modes is the hardest of the three, by far. Like, it's really not even close. Like, because elevated Mixler is one thing. With the storm fail modes, it's a little bit of everything, honestly. And honestly, it's funny how all three of these kind of blur into what ultimately can determine a fail mode too. I just hate that there's no cameras over here. Yeah, because this is Leesville that we're looking at on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You have airport right here, but that's really about it. You're actually looking for a camera. No dice there, at least not immediately, because there's no large highway or anything like that, or metropolitan area. So, tough sledding there, unfortunately. Jeez. My hair looks like a disaster right now. Oh. That was my tablet that you guys heard, by the way. Let's look at our CC here. I don't really see anything that strikes me as potentially on the ground with this, but it's also looking really noisy too, which I hate. Oh, hey, when did they get surface fronts on here? That's pretty cool, actually. Okay, so this is that main line here. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see much of anything. Starting to get a real increase in those severe thunderstorm warnings now, too. All around where the tornado warning is, we now have a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings to the north. We got one to the south. And then, of course, we have the considerable tag there, as that one's heading into Lake Charles. Whoo! You got some guts. And I'll tell you, I've done a lot of things in the landscape trade, but that is not one of them. And I don't think I'd dare. You have, like I said, you have some serious guts. mean, it's not even that I'm scared of heights. It's just there's just some things I'm just not willing to do, and that's one of them. 50 feet. Sheesh. The highest I've gone is maybe about 20 feet. Clearly, because I remember I started to feel that ladder shake under me one time when I was trimming crepe myrtles. I was about maybe 15 feet in the air. I was like, man, if you don't get me off, I looked at my boss. I'm like, man, if you don't get me off of this thing right now, I tell you, I don't care if you are the boss. I might take these loppers and smack you. Get me off of this ladder or get me a better one. He actually did, in all fairness, but I'm like, yeah, that was definitely a shock to me the first time I ended up doing tree work of any kind. Honestly, though, nowadays, I sometimes kind of miss cutting crepe myrtles, even though I even had a pretty gnarly eye injury from it. Come on, give me some lightning, please. Pretty please. Oh, and speaking of which, we have yet another tornado warning now. This one's over towards Calicasio and Orange County. This is Calicasio Parish and then Orange County. And also, fun fact, Louisiana doesn't go by counties, they go by parish. So, you see parish, you already know, it's Louisiana. Oh, you still got your leg spikes? Okay. Oh, you climbed it? No, that's even worse. I would never. The fact that you climbed 50 feet is even crazier. You have my respect, though, that's for sure. Alright, so this storm is going to be on top of Orange, Vinton, Toomey, and Pinehurst right now. We should be able to get a view at it. We're actually looking off towards the west. Trying to get a better camera if it's at all possible. I think this might be a better view because we can actually see the storm structure here. We might be able to see something. But our best chance is to look for power flashes or maybe a bolt of lightning or something. Oh, come on. And I just lost it. I thought I had it. Come on. Oh, we had a good view of it and I lost it like an idiot. Oh my god. There we go. There we go. Look at the camera. It's actually kind of shaking a bit. You see that? Yeah, this is traffic cams. Yeah, but this is heading into Louisiana now. I think your threat's about over. Make it bigger. I'm gonna have to make a little adjustment here. 1 second, guys. Let me see if I can go. Yeah, this is as far as it goes. See if I can fix this up here too. Oh, we got another tornado warning. It's two warnings on top of that same rotation. There might be a second area that's popped up now. That's been the nature of these storms. I sure would hope not. I don't think it is. I haven't heard any reports about that being on fire. I think those are just lights. Oh, look at that. Look at that little sneaky area that's popping up over here. We are getting pretty close to the radar though, so there could be a little bit of noise, but definitely suspicious of something going on over here. But definitely two distinct areas of rotation over towards the east of Leesville. And if this continues, this may pass just to the south of Alexandria. Oh, also, I don't know if John's still here, but Justin, I don't know if you saw it on Discord. Do you like the change we made? Obviously, you're still a mod, but also we may have added a new role on there. And a couple other things. Hang on a minute, that might be down. That's I know it's close to the radar and there's a little bit of noise there, but that looks suspicious. That matches almost perfectly with that rotation. This might be down. And of course, this is the one area where we don't have a camera. Isn't that something? And within the next scan, of course, it's gone. This scan should be updating right about now. But I think for maybe a scan or two, that could have been something. I'm surprised I haven't seen any lightning because over towards orange is where all the energy is going to be. The Cape should definitely be in abundance here. I find it really surprising I've yet to see one flash of lightning. Are we still on the leading edge, or is it something else? Or am I just looking at in the wrong spot? Because honestly, I do not know. Because from what I can tell, I think Evan is also looking at the same camera or something pretty similar. And I haven't seen much lightning on his camera either. Yeah, that rotation's now starting to lose strength. So that northern rotation may have dropped a little quick tornado. I'm interested to see what the survey teams will find. But I'm still interested in this southern rotation here. Nothing quite matching with that just yet, but it would not surprise me given the nature of these storms if it did end up dropping something. Let's see if we have another tornado warning. No, it's the same one. Okay. None of these have been upgraded to confirmed at this point, so I guess that's a good thing. But the other thing with this is, a lot of you already know, given the nature of these storms, these are not going to be long track tornadoes. These are going to be quick spin ups. We have a third tornado warning now. The thing about these QLCS tornadoes that are really ugly is the fact that these will often end up shifting up and down the line. Whereas one rotation weekends, it could literally push a little bit further to the south or north with each part of the line. So it's nothing too far out of the ordinary. We're in Louisiana with this one. It's Beauregard, Vernon, Allen. I was about to call it Alice. Parishes in southwest Louisiana. This is moving at 35 miles an hour. This is going to be in Sugartown in the next 4 minutes, and then Pitkin and Grant within the next 15 minutes. It's gotten pretty busy over here. We got on at the right time. If any of you could, definitely hit that share button if it's at all possible. I think that would go a long way too. Okay, that complex does look like it's starting to move closer to the camera now. That's one thing I would probably do as well. I'd probably let the QLCS come to me. Because once it passes you, you're pretty much done. You just kind of, it's more like you position yourself and then you just go from there. Dang, another one. This one is just outside of Lake Charles essentially now. Outside of proper Lake Charles. This is the same parish. It's Callicasue. This is moving east at 40 miles an hour. This is in Edgerly, Sulphur, Carolus, and Westlake within the next 25 minutes. Around here, that road network is not going to let you. Even though it wasn't really like a confirmed... Oh, we have an observed tornado warning, by the way, now, too. You can see it right on the bottom of the screen. This is actually the tornado that we were talking about a little bit earlier. And then here's the new rotation that's starting to pop up here a little further towards the south. Honestly, I think this might be the airport that we're looking at over here off to the left on our camera feed when I think about it. Because the way that the lights are lined up, I can't really see the strobes, but I can't help but wonder if that's the regional airport. I'm not super familiar with Lake Charles, obviously, but I have a fleeting suspicion that could be the airport. I wonder where Isaiah and them are at. Because, I mean, this should be here too. I know Isaiah was up. And we got another, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so they're allowing that one to continue. Yep. So we've had a little bit of a resurgence here with this cell. There was a brief rotation that had popped up over here. I think this one was the one that actually dropped that tornado here. We do have a CC signature. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, that might be another one on the ground. This is the one area where we don't have cameras. So I'm a little bit suspicious of that for sure. That might be yet another confirmed tornado. I did say in a couple of the shorts that I posted this weekend that the potential was there for a few tornadoes, and I mean, I wouldn't call it an outbreak, but this is kind of pushing the lower end outbreak territory here. So, I mean, it might be. Might be one of those things. I think it's 8 I think the technical number might be like 8. Perhaps 8. is considered an official outbreak? I would say at this point we've at least had 3. I know we've had 2 since, I can at least say 2 since we've been live. I know Evan had one that was going before we had started our stream. I think it was about maybe 20 minutes before. Vinton. Oh yeah, I think that's the that's the one Jaden's on. That is the one that Jaden's on. He's running from it too because he doesn't have a good option. So this is the one we're trying to look for on this camera here. But we've had no dice up to this point. Alright, I'm trying to see if I can get a better view. Yeah, this camera's not going to work. We only have eastbound views there. I'm trying to find a westbound camera if it's at all possible, but right now I'm just not getting anything. I have no dice. Arg. Yeah, no dice there. Yeah, we don't really extend, our camera's coverage doesn't really extend anywhere past, doesn't really extend too far past Lake Charles. So yeah, I think we're just kind of stuck with what we had. As much as it pains me to say that. Then on top of that, we gotta have westbound cameras, not eastbound, because that won't do us any good. I'm really shocked we haven't seen much in the way of lightning. Genuinely, I am. I'm still looking. Yeah, and there was the CC. Everything's kind of caught up now. Looks like that one's starting to wane. Might be watching this one that might be... Yeah, I think that's right behind Jaden. Jaden's going to have to outrun it. Shouldn't be too bad since it's only at 40, but he also probably isn't going to be able to see it. Oh, look at the hook on this, by the way. The one that's to the south of Vinton. That's a beautiful hook. We also know what that can mean. Trying to fix the screen here. I didn't know this thing was so bent out of shape. There we go. That should be better. Shrink that up just a little bit, but keep it easy enough for you guys to see. Yeah, I can't really see much of anything. And this camera's especially blurry, really grainy. I'm really hoping we can find a better westbound camera. It's not what we're looking for. This probably isn't any better. We're going to try to see if this might work. Nope, no skyline view. Not what we want. That's the one we're literally looking at. We're gonna go with this one on I-10, Ryan Street. Keep an eye on that. You can actually see the clouds moving if you look off to the right corner of the screen. Look at that motion there. You can tell that something's going on. But yeah, the only thing that's flashing are those cell phone towers. And I think the airport actually could be somewhere around there. Kind of hard to see it. So we might be extending that confirmed tornado warning up to the north. Because there's a new one that's been reissued and it expires in 22 minutes. The warning updates aren't flashing. That's one thing I'm kind of confused about. See if I can make a little edit here to the title. Yeah, it's gotten hot, and it's gotten hot very quickly. I'm trying to change the title to the stream here. Maybe we could draw in a few more people. I wonder who all is live right now. This definitely seems like something that would have been worthwhile to cover. I'm glad I did it. So at one point I was kind of on the fence with it, but at least I'm here to see what's going on. Even if we don't come out with a lot of views, I can care less. I just want to show that I've been here. This sulfur storm definitely looks like it's starting to weaken, or at least the northern one. The southern one I'm still kind of leery of. But I do see an inflow notch there still. And just as I say that, they reissue that warning, so that pretty much just confirms that. Man, Louisiana is taking off tonight. It is hot over there. There we go. This is what I want to do. let's see that right here. It's another radar indicated storm here. This is Rapides and Vernon Parish. I think we're sitting at 8 now. I think that makes 8 tornado warnings. Yeah, that's a new inflow notch starting to form over here. This is going to get dangerously close to sulfur if this continues. I'm still surprised we haven't seen a flash of lightning yet. I can't get past that. I'm sorry. I think we should be losing all of the observed tags here now. There is still one, but this will expire in 2 minutes, so we're going to be going back to all radar indicated again, at least for a moment. How long that will last, given the way things have gone so far, and how I don't see it being impeded, probably not long. That's just me being honest. Also checking the likes, by the way. Appreciate you guys getting us to 11 likes. Hopefully we can get the 15 to 20 maybe. Would love it if we can get some more people in here. It's even crazier that there was a lot more lightning earlier. Like, there was a lot of lightning earlier. But now, I guess because we're losing instability from the daytime heat, from the, well, I guess now lack of daytime heating, that might be why, but I'm not sure. But I was still expecting the Cape to probably last a little bit longer. At least till about maybe 10 o'clock Eastern time. Maybe even 10 Central time. Which would be 11 o'clock for me, but yeah. I guess just to keep these thunderstorms fed, we're just not getting that, little bit extra instability. Kind of hard to say at this point, but hey, it is what it is, I guess. The extra lightning would be helpful, though, right now. Because literally it looks like this point, the only way we're going to see a tornado is through power flashes. Most of the lightning happened near the end of the storm front. Also with all the heavy rain. But you guys had more instability to work with over there, Tim, so that doesn't surprise me as much. You had all that Gulf moisture kind of pushing in, and then, oh wait, there's a lightning flash. It just took a while, but there's a lightning flash. Do I need to look at eastbound cameras instead? Because it looked like the flash was actually behind it, but we're looking at a westbound camera. Am I slow? Alright, so good news, by the way. All confirmed tornado warnings or observed tags are gone. We are only dealing with radar indicators right now. Yeah, I'm wondering, am I looking at westbound cameras? Is my looking at westbound cameras putting us in the wrong direction? No, I can't because the clouds are moving towards us. And it's just, I guess it's just really stingy. I don't know. Daggone it. Also, some better news. We're down to 5 tornado warnings at the current moment. But I'm very leery of this cell that's to the south of Sulphur. I'm also still kind of leery of this action over here to the north. We still have 2 points of rotation, but I think that southern cell is really starting to dominate. And this is going to make a close pass to the radar side as well. Thankfully, it looks like if the southern cell kind of wins out, this stays away from Lake Charles like proper. But we definitely don't want to lose the radar. That could be a big problem. Alright, so I guess we'll work on the storm modes video after the stream tonight. Well, when things slow down eventually, I think we'll probably talk about tomorrow's threat briefly. If we get down to like 1 tornado warning and the radar image is just not that impressive, I think that's when we'll discuss that. Excuse me, y'all. Update on our sulfur tornado warning. Expires within 10 minutes. Not much has really changed with that. Seen an increase in maybe outflow dominance over here, but it's kind of hard to tell at this point being so close to the radar. But the count continues to drop now. We're sitting at 4 tornado warnings. Looks like this might be heading into Alexandria, so we might be able to look at this soon. Either way, it doesn't look. Yeah, it looks like as a whole, though, the lightning really has dropped off. Wow. I'm very shocked by this. Yeah, I do think that, I do remember seeing that instability did fall off somewhere close to about 10 o'clock Eastern. So we're getting into that time frame here. But considering the fact that I was thinking that a little bit of the action over towards the west wasn't quite as severe, maybe I was thinking there was a chance we had more to work with, but I think things went exactly as forecasted here. Now that's something right there that kind of intrigues me. This little bounded weak echo region we might have a little bounded weak echo region trying to form over here north of Reeves, maybe within time. That might be the play. So definitely need to keep an eye on this little notch here. I'm actually about to look at some model data right now, as a matter of fact. Yep, the model data just came in too, so that was literally, you couldn't have asked for more perfect timing. If anything, we should be seeing a little bit of an increase by the time we get towards midnight, maybe. Let me do a little thing real quick. Where is... We're going to do this. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Nothing changed there. Just trying to make sure I'm staying on top of things, but I'm trying to pull up the smaller weather-wise frame so that way we can that way I can show you what I'm looking at. Where is it though? There it is. There's some lightning. Alright, now let's fix this. It's not what I want. This right here. So yeah, this is what I was just looking at now. It's about 12 o'clock, really about another hour and some change from now. You see a little bit of a spike here where we could get up to another 1,000 joules of Cape just to the west of maybe New Orleans here. And then after that, we're kind of done, I think. Looks like all the warnings are updating. Yep, they're all updating. Got a considerable severe thunderstorm warning. It stretches all the way down from the coastline up to Kindler, by the way. Yeah, I think we still have a little bit of unstable air left to work with, but the corridor is going to be shrinking. Yeah, by the time we get into 1, 2 a.m., this is just about done. May as well unwrap my Christmas presents for tomorrow. Yeah, definitely need to be watchful of the Big Ben by the time we get towards about 2 or 3 o'clock. So I guess that's gonna be our cue to plan the next stream once we're done with this one. Or I might do something fun and actually show you guys what the process is for me doing thumbnails. Okay, so I guess now that we've done that, let's go back to the radar site and close this off for a minute. Sorry about that, guys. Can't really see anything immediately over here. Yeah, hard to say right now if there's anything on the ground. Just gotta make sure we're staying on top of things at this point, because that's all we can do. It's not, we don't really have too many chasers out here. Not a lot of people are really willing to jump on this, and truthfully, I can't blame them. Here we go. Here's some lightning. I think we're starting to finally run into that surge that we were just looking at. Speaking of which, I gotta go to the bathroom really quickly. I will be right back. Alright, let's get back to it here. All right, we're down to 3 tornado warnings at this point. Still getting updates in. Lightning's really starting to pick up. Just got a new tornado warning. This one is just north to north of Alexander. Jesus, really couldn't speak on that one. We were kind of suspicious of that area, but that is Grant Parish, by the way. This will be heading into Colfax, Pollock, Dry Prong, Bentley, and Fishville. One positive with this storm system is the fact that these storms haven't been moving terribly fast. Jet stream isn't so amped up to where we're getting these 60, 70 mile per hour storms that we could see with some of the bigger outbreaks as we get later into the year. So that's one thing to be thankful for. Arg. 4 tornado warnings. 4 severe thunderstorm warnings as well. All of them tornado possible tags. Well, all but one. There we go. We're getting better lightning now. I'll just leave that up there as a pinned comment. Looks like the worst of the threat has passed over our camera area now, so I think I'm going to try to see if we can't look a little further to the south. Oh, we were looking eastbound. No wonder why it was looking weird. I'm just making all kinds of mistakes tonight, huh? Should be able to get a good look at the lightning over here. Yep. Yeah, we were facing the wrong way. Yep, that's 100% on me. That's minus like 2,000. I've lost the duel. All my life points are 0. Let me actually take another look at this. That notch hasn't really been panned out into much of anything yet, but it does look like it still would be something worth watching. It's about to pass over the radar site, hopefully with nothing down. Yeah, it's going to be next to impossible to see with the proximity to radar. Gonna be one thing. I gotta do something really quickly. We'll play some music in just a second, actually, just to kind of keep things rolling here. Looks like they've extended that tornado warning, by the way. We're still sitting at radar indicated at this time. Next areas that will be in line after this point if the rotation continues to hold, because right now I can't really see much. It will mainly be Iowa, Louisiana, by the way. Let's make sure we're clear on that. Bonaire, Bellevue, Harver, Chalky, Homewood, Rossignol, Bell City, Hayes, Verret, Foreman Halls, Cassine. Then further to the east, we have Niblet and maybe Welsh as well. It looks like we got a new one here. This tornado warning, by the way, has been issued for southeastern Grant Parish. This is still moving at 35 miles an hour, so we're going to be watching Pollock, Bentley, and Fishville. This is actually an old warning. It was just kind of hanging out here by itself. Starting to see a new notch coming back up on the line here. So you have to be a little bit more watchful. Okay. There we go. We do have a new observed tornado, by the way, now. This is over towards Glamora again. That kink in the line, I told you. Looks like we're really just starting to ramp back up again. We're not done yet. So this looks like over towards Woodworth is where the circulation was. I don't see anything robust on here. Clearly they see something. I think it's probably somewhere over here on the leading edge. Probably just as quickly as it's formed, it's already dissipating. Such is the nature of these storms. As mentioned before. He's flying. Oh wow, I'm just now seeing that. I'm sorry, Tim. I don't know why it just popped up now, but yeah. I'll catch you later, bud. You have a good night. I don't know why it didn't come through on my area, on my feed, but I had to look at my tablet to see that message. All right, Justin. Still think there's going to be at least another hour of this. Welcome back. I think we have a new observed tornado warning, or is it? I think this still might be the same one. Let me check something. I think that rotation might have shifted further towards the south. I might be more interested in maybe Forest Hill. It's hard to say at this point. Yep. Speaking of which, that's a new tornado warning over here towards Oberlin. So we have a radar indicated storm. This is for Evangeline, St. Landry, and Allen parishes here. It's moving east at 35 miles an hour. This is going to be over at Oberlin in the next couple minutes. On within the next 10 minutes, and then Duralade within the next 15. So, it's another tornado warning. North of Lake Charles. Yeah, it's that little couplet right there. I can already see it, and I'm not even looking at the right radar site. Looks like Jaden's close to that storm. Hate that this is so close to the radar. That's on the downside. It's almost better to use this other radar site. I think we're still within range with it, but it's not quite as accurate. Yeah, I don't think that tornado is observed anymore. But they have it almost like it's intertwined with that severe thunderstorm warning, which is kind of confusing.
Saving money feels right. Just like when things are packed tight
advertisements.
inside. Get auto insurance that fits your budget and your needs.
I think you're going to change it. Camera side, possibly. We're still getting good lightning in the distance, but I want to see if we can get a look at maybe getting in tornado. Wonder what that even does over there. We do have a couple new rotations with the storm. This is the one that had that observed tornado over towards Forest Hill earlier. That sense is weakened, but we have two new circulations past Oakdale. Right here and right here. One might be heading towards Turkey Creek, the other towards Pine Prairie. starting to increase finally. So anyone that is here in chat, should we switch over to Lake Charles, or should we stay at Lake Charles, or should we maybe shift our attention towards? You know what? I think I'm just gonna go for it. We're gonna go look at Alexandria and see what's what there. The storm's about to pass that area now, so we gotta stay ahead of things. Yeah, any areas further off towards the east where we can look. Not great. It's flying up through here. I don't know if that's the tick ray of the camera or what. But they're zooming through here. Booming and zooming. I don't know if that's the right camera view though. At least not the one that we want. Good lightning though still. All three of these are northbound. Not great. I don't think that camera's working, and it's probably not what we're looking for either. Yeah, once you get towards the eastern half of Alexandria, not really much to show. Not great. This warning's been extended here. Now extended till 9:45 Central Time, so another 30 minutes have been added to this warning. Repeats Evangeline, Rielis, and St. Landry parishes. I think the rain's already passed through this area. So one unique thing about this setup is, with this being a line of storms, is that once the rain starts to roll through in this kind of setup, you're typically good. It's definitely going to be the case tonight, and as you can see, the rain's coming down pretty good here, so the threat is essentially over. Daggone ads, man. So with this one, we're gonna go ahead and just get out of that one. Try to see if we can find a better camera. Well, it does look like that's gonna be an uphill task, figuratively and literally. I think we're gonna probably just have to go back south again. Back towards Lake Charles. There's not really a lot to work with. a good look at the storm structure here at least. Should be able to see some more lightning momentarily. New mezzo discussion got issued regarding the tornado watch. This is make sure I can show this to you guys. When was this issued? That's what I'm trying to find out right now. Okay, there we go. This was issued about 12 minutes ago. So this was issued 12 minutes ago. This is basically the rundown for it. The areas that we're looking at now are the points of interest for the highest tornado and wind potential. We could see peak tornado potential maybe up to F2, and also damaging winds potentially as high as 70 miles per hour. We've seen the considerable attack severe thunderstorm warning, so not much of a surprise here. That's kind of to be expected at this point. We'll probably continue to see that as we go forward. Yeah, south central Louisiana looks like the point of interest. By the time we get further off towards the east, I do think we're going to start to see a drop off in stability to a point where these storms will lose a lot of their energy. They've done well to hold on to it for as long as they have, but we're going to start to see the decrease begin to come. All right, let's go back to the radar. Of course, it's when I look away, that's when we get the lightning to start popping off a little bit more again. Alright, I think we've had this split screen on for too long. This warning still looks like it's going to continue for another 12 minutes. This warning's been around for a minute. Poor old Grant Parish has been in a warning for like the last almost an hour now. This warning continues as well. I think I'm gonna grab myself a little drink here. Get some tea. I'll be right back once I'm there. Oops. Room is messy. Apologize for that. Gotta get my laundry done. I had to fix that tea manually, so it took a little longer. I apologize. Ooh, hair just continues to fly out my head, my hat. Hey, Shiori, how you doing? Ooh, there's some good lightning. Ooh, yeah, there we go. That's more like it. Well, just, I'm doing my thing. Doing doing the best I can with what I got here, at least. We got, it's been pretty busy though these last couple hours. Yeah, lightning's definitely increasing. So this is a new tornado warning. This is for Jefferson, Davis, Acadia, and Vermilion parishes now. So this is over towards Welsh. We're east at 40 miles an hour. And it's going to be affecting Jennings, Welsh, and Lake Arthur within the next 6 minutes. In about 10 minutes for Mermintu, then Evangeline, Egan within the next 15 minutes, just about at this point now, and then about 20 minutes until we get to Norse, and then about 30 minutes within 30 minutes towards Iota. Also, Roanoke, Midland, and Esterwood need to be on watch for this storm as well. Anybody on I-10 and between miles markers 53 and 75 need to be watched too.
Supervisor at a manufacturing facility and your machinery isn't working right, you need to understand what's wrong as soon as possible. So when it
It's a nice little light show here. I love these kinds of events. If there was any reason I would chase this, that would mainly be it. But clearly we did have tornadoes with this too, so it's not like this event has been just boring. It's been actually pretty busy. It has? Maybe I'm not talking into the mic loud enough. Let me see if I can adjust it a little bit. I know I've been having issues with my mic, so there is that. Alright, is this any better? Or are we still kind of at the same point? I've been talking just about at the same volume. Maybe no? Yeah, I don't know. I think it's time for me to get a new mic. I was really hoping I'd be able to wait a little longer, but I was really hoping to do like a really good upgrade. Yeah, I could tell the volume's just randomly dropping off at points. I mean, I can adjust it a little bit more, but yeah, I just don't understand why it keeps doing that though. I mean, I'm pretty much sitting at the same point. That's what's so weird about this. I know the cable has a short in it, but also I think the port itself might be loose. And it might be playing a role into it, but I'll just have to keep adjusting the volume because this is obviously this isn't really the mic that I want. I want something much better. This is just a low-end mic that I got when I first started streaming, or not even streaming, but just started the channel even. So I've had this for almost 4 years. In fact, my first video, I think it was like March 4th or 5th in 2022. So it'll be, this mic will be about 4 years old. Indeed it is, Justin. Yeah, I think it's been doing this for a while too, because I remember Contingents a while back was mentioning that at times we were having those problems. It was like, that can't be. I know that in reality, I'm kind of a soft talker too, so I was thinking it had to be that. But now I'm starting to wonder if it's the mic. This keeps. Dang. I got too much hair now. I keep wearing snapbacks. Or I need the big-headed snapbacks. Every time I look in the camera, I realize, oh, more of my hair is starting to slide out. My hair is absolutely atrocious right now. I need to wash it, actually, if I'm being truthful. It's been about 2 days. Oh, here comes the rain. Here comes the wind, too. I was hearing a little something on Evan's feed that there might have been power splashes on the screen here. Whoa, hold on. Keep your eye on the left side of the screen there. It was a little bit more of a notable flash there. It looked kind of concentrated. Let's take a look at that. If I'm looking at a CC, I can't really see anything immediately, but there is a circulation that's the circulation is over there. Okay. Yeah, I try not to talk too loud because the walls here where I live at is pretty thin. Yeah, it looked sus for a moment, but I can't really tell for sure. This is pretty close to where the circulation is. It might be a little bit further off towards the south. We're looking westbound, so. But it was so far on the edge of the screen, I can't tell. There might have been one, but I think it was off to the left of the screen. It was just really quick. That's lightning right there, I can tell. But there was like a really small spot that it popped up there. And yeah, like that right there was a lightning flash. That was a lightning flash too. Yeah, the storm's pretty much already raced through that area at this point. So we're probably going to have to reposition the camera. See if we can get a westbound camera. No, that's eastbound. That's eastbound. Daggone it. No, I don't want eastbound cameras. What the heck, man? I think we're just going to have to improvise and do this. Alright, so they downsized this tornado warning, by the way. This is now just Evangeline and St. Landry parishes. probably the best we can do here. Appreciate that, guys. Let's see if we can get this camera up here. Yeah, this is probably going to be the best we can do. Only downside is probably not going to see anything until the rain passes because the lightning is going to be coming from the back side of the camera. Got a nice little couplet right, or not couplet, but a kink right over here towards Cottonport that I'm watching as well. We're just past Jennings. Jaden is right about here, and I think we're maybe just to the east of him. He might have actually come through this particular camera. But yeah, we're sitting on, our camera is on I-10. Doesn't help that this camera's in night vision mode essentially, so it's going to be even harder to see. But yeah, you can tell that the lightning is behind us, so we're facing eastbound. Looks like that couplet might be starting to condense a little bit. Yeah, just north of Lake Arthur. Yeah, we're in a good spot. It's just the camera's facing the wrong freaking direction. I'd be much happier if it was facing westbound, but can't get everything we want sometimes, I guess. But yeah, if you watch how the lightning, what just happened? Did we lose power? Did we just lose power? Dude, seriously? It's always facing the wrong way. Honestly, yeah, you can't win. Let's try that again. No, not. I sure hope I wouldn't lose power. There's nothing going on here. Besides, we dealt with that the last winter storm, and we didn't even get snow. But hey, what do I know? But, no, I think the camera might either lost power or something like that, because we were full screen, so I don't see why we just got kicked out like that. Especially when the other cameras are working fine. So, that was a little perplexing, but it's alright. Where's my tablet at? Gotta take a look at something really quickly. Yeah, it could have been that. I'm pretty sure Jaden had just passed this camera over here that we're on now, and the one that we were on too. Yeah, I think this is trying to condense a little further towards the south. We might want to maybe take a look at those Lake Arthur cameras now. If they have any. It looks like they don't. Yeah, everything's a little further off towards the north. Everything's eastbound.
Think again. Anyone can bring their AT&T or
Let's try that
T-Mobile bill
one.
to a Verizon store today, and we'll give you a better deal.
Of course,
So bring us your bill.
advertisements
Walk
for
in,
the music.
run in, pogo stick.
Sorry, Jacob. Alright, so we still have a tornado warning for Alexandria proper here. The worst of the threats passed, but I do think that new rotation there north of Marksville is going to be a point of interest. Looks like they're continuing this tornado warning. We're now back up to 6 tornado warnings currently. Alright, guys, hold on a second. Evergreen? Hang on. Yeah, sorry I missed that. Sorry I missed that chat. Surely I was looking away for a moment. Sometimes it gets really chaotic looking at all these screens at once. I'm blessed to have them, but sometimes I'm like, man, I have to take a look away. Northish near Cottonport. Okay. I thought that's what you had meant. I was trying to make sure that I had proper context. Yep, it's this one here. It's got really strong. Yeah, that could be doing something there. Let me look at CC. Might want to actually go split screen with this. For a large part of the stream that we were in this configuration anyway. So no clear context as to whether or not it's down, but That is looking a little bit more suspicious. If we see more of a turn by the next scan or two, then that's definitely on the ground. There's definitely rotation there. That goes without saying. But this next scan that's going to be coming in probably within the next 45 to 60 seconds should tell us everything we need to know. Yeah, it hasn't dropped, so yeah, there's no CC drop yet, but this rotation still remains. We're gonna have to watch that real close. Yeah, because it is a little bit further back in the line too. I did notice that. Yeah, there's not as much of an inflow notch right now. So it's not taking in the warm air, so you might be right. This might become a new point of interest too before long, just north of Vivid Flat. Alright, let me check something really quick. So I've actually been looking at a lot of model data here in the last little bit. Trying to get an idea of what we're up against over these next few hours. So we do have a little bit of remnant instability that could last all the way until about midnight before we really start to see a drop off. So that could even include areas like Baton Rouge before all is said and done. But it's really unclear at this point in time. Let me show you guys exactly what I'm looking at right now. So you can see it right here. The timing says about 12 o'clock Eastern, so within the next hour or so, we'll still have a little bit of instability left over here towards southern and maybe even east central parts of Louisiana. By the time we get towards 1 o'clock, this kind of falls off. If we take a look at the sounding here, there's still decent potential for tornadoes if you look at the hodiograph. So, I don't think we're done yet. I think we're quite a ways from being done, actually. Now, these aren't going to be incredibly dangerous tornadoes in the sense of just pure strength, but they're nocturnal, and they can still do plenty of damage in their own right. So, not great. Just more than enough shear to support it.
Shopping with your parents. Amazing.
Why were they
Ads.
so filled with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Go away. is in effect here. This is that little notch that I was talking about, which we'll still need to keep an eye on going forward. Alright, well, at least for the moment, we're down to 3 tornado warnings. I think since we've started going live, I think that's the lowest number we've had. It's been surprisingly busy tonight. I've also been trying to take a look and see if we've gotten any confirmed tornado reports, because when I last checked about an hour ago, we were still sitting at 0. And we're still sitting at 0. I guess they're just going to wait for the survey teams tomorrow. I mean, it kind of makes sense. And then tomorrow we still do have yet another slight risk, so there's a pretty good chance that we're going to still be live. Especially since the only thing that I would really be doing tomorrow is watch the Daytona 500, which ironically is also under the slight risk and has a 5% tornado threat from the National Weather Service and Storm Prediction Center. So, one way or another, we're going to be staying pretty busy on here, it looks like. Praise hell, praise Dale. 25 years, man. Hard to believe it's been that long. I wasn't even 7 years old when that happened. And don't hate me for this, but you can see the poster back there. I'm a Gordon fan. I grew up a Gordon fan, but I never hated Dale, though. Only driver I kind of hated, and I didn't even really hate him, was Rusty. Rusty didn't even really get on my nerves like that. If anything, I actually enjoyed watching him. I got you, hang on. You're still on the Discord server, right, Shori? Oh yeah, I see you on here. Check your messages.
Taxes is feeling unwelcome. Now Taxes is an open door to new TurboTax stores. Meet our experts. They do your taxes, so you can walk.
Yeah, I try to always have a little backup plan. Yeah, I started getting creative with things since obviously I live in Atlanta, but my favorite team's the Houston Texans when it comes to football. So obviously aren't going to show Texan games around here. Not too quickly, unless they're playing Jacksonville, and even then that's still a gamble or a toss-up as to whether or not you get it. I didn't have any real bad blood with Dale Jarrett. I'm trying to think of who I really didn't like. Tony Stewart, I didn't like Tony. But that's because I was a Gordon guy. And you know those two had beef. Later on, I did have beef with Matt Kinsey after 2006. Well, it was also because my brother was a Smoke fan. So it was more so a sibling rivalry. Like, as far as his body of work goes as a driver, I admired it. But because my brother liked Smoke and I liked Jeff, it was a problem. When it comes to sports, me and my brother, we always clash. And it's probably always going to be like that. Like, his favorite team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. I always root against them. It's just how it goes. He roots for my favorite team to lose also, so there's that. And it was really the same with my dad, too. There you go. Some lightning there for you guys. My dad actually liked Sterling Marlin, and then he eventually, after Sterling started to slow down with racing, I think he went over to Dale Jr. Yeah, it does make it fun. It's funny until your people start losing, then it sucks. If my dad was still around right now, he would be fuming with the way the Buckeyes played in the college football playoff. Because Miami was my old team when I was a kid, because I loved the offense that they had back in the early 2000s. So we got a new warning issued for pretty similar area. We got Evangeline, Alveolas, and St. Landry Parish. These parishes have been in warnings for like the last hour almost. Can't even leave your safe spot yet. Wouldn't recommend it. Good news is the line is almost through. Once it is, the threat is over. But yeah. Yeah, I always would root against the Buckeyes. And then on top of that, the irony of the Hurricanes beating the Buckeyes some 20 plus years after the Buckeyes beat them in the national championship. In a way, it was kind of poetic. The 8-year-old me was smiling. Current me didn't really care. Me personally, I was just happy that the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl. Because Drake May was not ready for the moment. I knew he wasn't. His performance in the playoffs in general showed it. He just got cut a few breaks too many. Oh. So that's why. No, I understood what you were saying. Ooh, that was some big lightning there. So... But I knew from the beginning, the moment that the Super Bowl was decided to be those two teams, I knew that Seattle was winning. I used to play football, and I could just look at it from like the eye test. Because Seattle had a really good defense. The only team that had a better defense than them was actually Houston. Like, genuinely. Teams were terrified of that Texans defense. Like, that secondary would end up making you throw interceptions. But that's if you even got a chance to throw the ball, because those defensive ends were often tormenting quarterbacks all throughout the year. Oh, you're a Raiders fan? It's a new tornado warning, by the way. The same areas, essentially. It's just to keep shifting up and down the line. It's almost kind of pointless to sound the siren, but Lafayette, Acadia, and St. Landry, once again, all these parishes continue to be under the same tornado warnings over and over again. But people are like, I'm kind of tired of this. I'm just going to stand outside in it, which is a terrible idea, but I wouldn't be surprised if somebody decided to crash out and do it. Yeah, the Raiders are still a team. They're in Vegas now, but it's not like things are better. Vegas did not really change things. Shoot, there's... Yeah, Vegas only made things alright. That is a dumpster fire of an organization. It's just bad. It's just downright bad over there. Like, arguably the only other franchises that might be worse would be the Cleveland Browns and the New York Jets. I could almost argue that my home team, Atlanta, might be close to that as well. One thing that's in common with all four of those teams honestly. But yeah, one thing about those four teams that they all have in common is self-sabotage. Like, it's almost insane. I'm just trying to think to myself, you know, how does it keep happening? Like, how do you guys do this every year? The only reason I say Atlanta isn't worse than the other three teams is because at least they'll get 7 wins every year. Or not every year, but at least this year they got 7 wins. The other teams, I think Cleveland was a 12-loss team. Let's not talk about Vegas. And then the Jets couldn't even get an interception on defense. Like, literally, that was a meme throughout the year. The fact that the New York Jets could not get a defensive interception. Plenty of interceptions were thrown by the offense, though. So, yeah, bad times for those guys. So we're down to 2 tornado warnings, and we're about at that point where we're dealing with peak amount of instability left available. Probably going to see a drop off pretty soon here. So that's another tornado warning, by the way. This is probably going to be in rural areas, essentially. Yep. It's going to remain over rural areas, but this is Cameron and Vermilion parishes. Probably going to be more of a water spout type of deal here at this point, or at least with this one. Still need to be watchful of Lafayette at this point. Speaking of which, since we are near Lafayette, we should be able to get another view of the cameras here. I hope we can get a westbound camera. Hey, here we go. I don't know if you're still here, John, but I know how a lot of people are saying praise Dale. Who do you think in today's lineup is anywhere close to the driver that Dale is? I'm not talking about skill, because that's completely different. But I'm talking as far as aggression. You just better not say Carson Hocevar. Kyle Busch. That's interesting. That's an interesting thought. I think Kyle Busch, when he was younger, was a little closer to Dale than he is now, in my opinion. Kyle is a little bit more forgiving. I think even as Dale got older, but yeah, I think as Dale got older, he kind of eased up just a little bit. Yeah, I do agree with that, though. I do agree with that. He's definitely got that veteran mentality, though. I'm gonna miss it when Kyle's actually gone. A few years ago, I never thought I'd say that, but I think him being around RCR has a lot to do with that. And then basically, essentially having Dale's role. I really hope that he could win the 500, honestly. I hope he just has a better season than last year. I hope he gets a win or two. Like, I'd love to see that. Because a lot of the drivers that I watch get into the sport, including Kyle, a lot of them are getting up there in age. Joey Logano's bald now. What? What do you mean? Ooh, I really didn't like Kurt back in the early 2000s. Yeah, Joey did have alopecia, but still, I remember when he first started, like it was crazy. The fact that he replaced Tony Stewart in the 20 car. And I was just like thinking to myself, is Joe high or something? But yeah, it's weird. Like it's gonna take some getting used to. It hasn't affected his driving because clearly he won the duel. No, Kurt's not bald. Joey Logano is though. Yeah, Kurt retired. He had a really bad concussion a few years back. Oh, Joey, yeah. No, Joey's still been good. In fact, Joey won a championship not too long ago. Within the last couple of years, actually. Yeah, Joey won a championship within the last few years. Where? Well, I guess that's not on the ground then. But that actually looks really impressive. Definitely gonna need to keep an eye on this Washington cell. Definitely concerned with the way that one looks. Clear inflow, not clearly some rotation ongoing over here. And if this continues its current track, this may track all the way into Melville. Yeah, Joey's bald.
Why are you not investing in tax liens? No, seriously.
Oh.
Why are you not investing into one of the most
Well, I mean, for me, I never really stopped watching, even after Jeff retired, because I was almost thinking at one point, maybe I'm not going to watch anymore, but I was just like, what else can I do? Especially during this time of year when there's no football on either, because NBA is not what it used to be to me either. So, if you ask me, that rotation's actually ramping up, by the way. I'm quite concerned about that. That's hail right there. But we need to watch this area really close, because I get the feeling there could be something down. Oops. Yeah, I don't like the look of that one bit. It's not clear, but I don't know. That looks very suspicious. And that's putting it lightly. Looks like it's starting to shrink. But I do think there's a small chance that that might have dropped for a brief moment. But this is the area where we're anticipating peak instability. I think once we pass Baton Rouge, this threat's going to drop off considerably. Make sure I know have a good location for the camera. I don't know if we'll get a good skyline view from this, but we're going to try it. This is going to be on the doorstep of Baton Rouge in time. We're going to try to look on the far side over here. You might be able to see it on the horizon. The lightning flashes. Yeah, it looks like we're losing that rotation now, which is a good thing, because it was looking pretty intense at one point. Like it could have dropped a bigger tornado potentially at one point, but it looks like the notch is still there, so it still could do something, but at one point that rotation looks pretty alarming. And this is the first time in a while, and I've just now realized it. We don't have any considerable severe thunderstorm warnings anymore. So yeah, we're starting to see this finally begin to drop off now. I want to check out something real quick. Still sitting at 3 radar indicated tornado warnings. No major changes there. Since we have new settings, I figure I'd fool around with these just a little bit. Kinky line ass warning still. Yeah. Definitely does. I don't want to scare anybody, but I do want to test these out. There's not too many people on, so maybe forgive me if it does sound a little too alarming.
Saving money feels right. Just like when things are packed tidy and tight.
Bruh,
Get auto
I didn't mean
insurance.
to. Alright, I won't do it.
Save
Alright.
up to 10% when you bundle auto and renters insurance. Get a quote today.
We'll make sure that you don't hear anything. I'll be right back, too, by the way. Oh, okay. Nah. Okay, so that's how I would do it then. Alien Popo. And we have a new warning here. This is an extension of the one we previously had. So now we're looking at West Valenciana Parish along with what Coop. So we're just pushing a little further off towards the east now. This is just north of Baton Rouge, by the way. I think I might be able to get a view of it. Or I should be able to. I'd like to think I could. Give me something give me a westward view. Give me something westbound, please. Pretty please. Nope. Southbound, southbound. Northbound. There we go. Be nice if this would give me a view. There we go. It's a very grainy view. We're gonna have to give it a shot here. Because options seem very few today. Come might be a little too far to the north for me to get it. It's another tornado warning for that southern cell. If I could just figure out a way to get that coded in, I tell you. Yeah, that's still Vermilion Parish. This is a rural storm. Nothing to really worry about there. Seems like it's trying to ramp back up a little bit. That inflow notch has gotten a little bit tighter. I think that should do it. There we are. I wonder when they did this update. I do like it though. Alright, I think that should be all the updates we need. There we go. On the far southern warning. Oh yeah, I've seen that one too. Yeah, that's about to be offshore. You're gonna have ourselves a little water spout that we can't see because they don't have cameras out here. We're starting to enter Mississippi now at this point. See if I have another radar site I can look at. Oh, so this is it right here. It's a little far. It's raining fish. Yeah, it will be raining fish over here. Somewhere. Out in the middle of the Gulf. Where no one will be seeing it. Unless you're on a boat. at like 10:30 at night with a thunderstorm overhead. Oh, okay, Medea. What was I doing? I feel like there was something I was trying to look at. I think it was power outages. Genuinely curious how bad is power outage situation. Texas, Louisiana at about maybe 20 to 30,000 apiece. Not too bad. It's not awful, so there is that. Oh, there's our slight risk for tomorrow, by the way. Where is it? Where is the power outage, man? I'm going to take that off here for a
How can
minute.
a Capital One 360 performance savings account with one of the best savings rates in America help you
there
grow
it
your
is.
money? Set automatic savings rules.
We'll
to
talk
easily
about that
save
slight
for that
risk a
next
little
big
later.
adventure.
Things continue to slow down.
Nice. There are no
Because we'll probably be
monthly
live for
fees,
this
as in
tomorrow.
Zero, nada, nil. And there's no minimum deposit required to open, keep, or use your account. You can get started with just a penny. And that's just the start.
The
Help your
ads,
money
man.
grow
We
with
need
one of the
premium
best
back.
savings rates in
God forbid I try to do something to save a little bit of money. I mean, you had to think I was going to get the reference. I mean, from Atlanta. Sorry, Tyler Perry lives here. I know landscapers that have done his lawn. In fact, I passed by his house, heading to other celebrities' houses around here. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like how that looks. Okay, so let's look at our warnings here. Make sure we don't have anything confirmed. We got what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. None of them are confirmed. I'm gonna check and see something really quick. starting to get a little far from our radar side here. Ugh. This is a nasty little radar hole over here towards Baton Rouge. Might be something to watch over towards just north of Lafayette here. Kind of hard to see at this point though. There's a new outflow boundary, it looks like it's starting to form here too. I think this might be the straw that breaks the camel's back. So what's that in mind? I think we can at least take off the split screen for a bit. I don't see anything that immediately concerns me. Oof. This looks like it's starting to choke out. Yeah, it's not looking quite as prominent. I think the Lafayette storm's starting to lose its luster as well. Okay. We did say that once we got past this area, instability was going to drop off. This is right about on schedule, honestly. So at least we've been doing decent with the forecasting tonight. Okay, so what I think I'm going to do here is I'm going to quickly go over tomorrow's threat. And then maybe we'll hang out till 12:30 Eastern or 30 past the next hour. And we'll probably call it a night. So I guess what we'll do first, and hopefully nothing goes crazy while we're at it. Let me make sure I got everything kind of locked down here. Yep, okay. Still radar indicated at this point in time. Doesn't look all that menacing on radar. Definitely a far cry from what we've been seeing. Still want to watch that area there as it crosses US 61. But overall, keep the radar loop on and go from there. We're still going to, of course, have the radar up on the side here. If I can find it. There it is. Okay. Okay, so a quick rundown. This is the slight risk that we have for tomorrow. We have a slight risk that stretches all the way from the Florida Panhandle into southern Georgia and all the way towards parts of the Big Bend and even into the peninsula at this point. So what we're going to be paying the most attention to, of course, is the 5% tornado threat and the wind threat. This is conveniently placed as well because guess what's happening tomorrow? The Daytona 500. So the weather does look like it's going to be an impact. Hail threats on the more marginal side, so there is that as well. When I look at the parameters for tomorrow, One of the biggest things that kind of stands out to me is the resurgence of instability that we end up getting as we go further throughout the day. This does look like this affects the area as we get maybe a little bit past the green flag. I did remember hearing something about them maybe moving up the start time as well as a result of this. Trying to take a look and see if we get one more hour out of that. Yeah, we'll have to go to 0Z for just take a look at the rest of that time frame in which the weather's going to pick up. Now, the evolution of this, it does look like the Cape's going to be more aggressive in the newer model runs compared to the old. So, we're going to be kind of limited on the time. Moved up to 1:30. Yeah, because normally they'll do it after like 2 o'clock or something. Closer to 3 sometimes. But yeah, the festivities definitely got moved up because of the weather. But instability definitely seems like it's gonna be there in a decent amount of abundance. I do have questions in regards to how that ends up shaping out overall here. We'll combine that instability with the hodographs here. And the wind profile isn't all that impressive in this situation here. By the time we get that mixing of instability, it looks like things kind of downtrend right now based off of some model data that we have available to us. Looking at the soundings, it kind of indicates that as well. We do have some low-level shear though, so the concern is valid in regards to our tornado threat. It's probably going to be a similar storm mode as to what we've had tonight, which would be a linear segment with embedded supercells and quick little spin-ups, some of which could be pretty problematic and could get strong, maybe even all the way up to EF2 strength, maybe a little bit above, but I wouldn't expect anything too far beyond that. As far as discrete supercells, I find them to be highly unlikely. Lapse rates are very low, and forcing in this case is going to be kind of a question there. This is that storm system that's going to be causing said severe weather. The forcing isn't all that strong in the upper levels either. So, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we got a discrete one to pop up, but I still find it to be rather unlikely. I do think we'll see a lot of water spouts that might pop on the land here towards the bend and then kind of work their way through the panhandle and peninsula region here. And then this little exit region over here towards South Georgia could be a point of interest also. Like I said, at this point it looks like the front's pretty well established, so I'm thinking a linear mode, maybe increasing forward speed with the storms as we go further along with that little jet max is starting to pop up here. We do have ample low-level jet available. We're looking at about 40 knots at times, so depending on whether or not these turn really isn't going to matter. I think we're going to have plenty of wind energy over here to the south. It really just depends on the mixing that happens in the mid-levels of the atmosphere. We do have pretty strong mid-level winds as well. Moisture, I don't expect that to be much of a problem with this either. Yeah, plenty of 60-degree plus dew points, a good region of them right here. And that moisture is going to continue to pump in throughout the afternoon, maybe even into the evening hours, so there is that.
But a sauna helps you handle
More
it.
ads.
That's because a sauna is
Nobody cares about the ads. Alright, so looking at everything we have there, moisture, temperature, we pretty much know the deal at this juncture. In fact, before these storms roll in, there's a chance we could even see some 70s come into the equation. So, it's a solid environment. That's what we would expect it to be around this time of year. Here's our storm system and what it's doing right now. And then as we watch this progress through the evening, notice how it kind of loses a little bit of its steam, but as we get later into the afternoon, here is that resurgence, running into a little bit of that instability. And then we see a nice little squall line develop. We'll have to see how things perform with that low-level jet there, but we could have another deal like we did tonight. But yeah, that's pretty much the basic rundown of our setup. Alright. Did that relatively quick. It wasn't an issue. Doesn't look like we've really missed a whole lot right now. We're still sitting at 4 tornado warnings currently. Still got a little while before they expire, so it looks like we'll be hanging out for a little longer. Alright guys, let's take a look at velocities here, see if we got anything of major concern. Since we're kind of getting into a radar hole, this is going to become harder to, it's going to be a little bit harder to observe through here, but it seems like the most dangerous storm still continues to be this one that's here near New Roads at this point. Trying to see if there's anywhere else that I could be watching as well. Looks like these other two storms are kind of falling off a little bit. The Aidville, I'm still watching that, but I don't really see anything that immediately concerns me. And then this section of storms might be heading offshore in due time, so we'll see what we got there. But yeah, it's this New Road storm that really intrigues me. Whew. change that color because that's a little bit too close to the tornado watch color. We got to be closer to the severe thunderstorm, the old school severe thunderstorm warning color. Should be a little bit better. We'll see what the next flash looks like after we get it. We'll see an update pretty soon. Of that, I'm sure. Still dealing with radar indicated with that. Nothing's really changed there. They're probably going to continue that warning. It continues to look like that on the radar. Yeah. I really think that's going to be the only one left at this point. Update on the other one. This is probably going to expire soon. They might cancel that early because that thing is just starting to really look like slop now. Yeah, because one thing about it, the instability does not make it very far to the north. Of the little bit of a boost that we were getting tonight. Like I said, I think we're really about at the end of our rope here. Outside of this little area here. Towards New Roads. Even then, it doesn't look like I think the rotation looked better at the last scan. Yeah, this was a lot better like 2 or 3 scans ago. Yeah, that might be weakening too. We might half it and go to 1215. I don't know. We'll see. We'll figure this out one way or another. Yeah, it might be a little bit much for you guys. Yeah. Yeah, we could go 12, 12, 15. One or the other. Yeah, because I think I honestly think we're at the end of this event. I mean, there's always that chance that something sneaky happens, but I would find it to be unlikely. Is this going to give me what I need? Survey says no. I'm gonna check and see if there's any damage reports. Probably won't be able to get a really good idea of anything unless I haven't seen any reports on socials, at least not right now. Alright, we're down to 2. Yeah, I might hang out for another 10 or 15 minutes, and then I think I'll call it a night. Yeah, I think this event's just about at the end of its life cycle here. Because this rotation is just getting weaker. In fact, I might actually call it now. Yeah, I've done just about everything I can really do with this. So yeah, I'm gonna just go ahead and call it a stream. We've been live for a good 3.5 hours on an event that we weren't really expecting. So I'd say that's not too bad. Besides, we gotta save ourselves for the big events. But I think that's it for tonight. So with that in mind, appreciate you guys. Stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll be live again. So yes, it was a great stream actually. Some interesting stuff. Couldn't get a tornado on stream, but that's how it goes sometimes. It's hard to do that anyway. But good night, everybody. Hope to see you guys tomorrow afternoon. Until then, everyone take care. Sleep well.